Have you ever sat on your couch late at night, staring at nothing and thought, I'm just not cut out for this anymore? Not just failing at a job or a class, but feeling like you're failing at being yourself?
Oh, absolutely. That heavy, burned-out feeling, when you're completely drained emotionally and physically, like your battery is dead. I lived right there for a month after my little side business collapsed last year.
Collapsed is such a strong but honest word, because when something collapses, your confidence often collapses with it. One missed goal turns into a story in your head that says, see, I'm just not good enough.
Exactly. And comparison makes it 10 times worse. You see someone crushing it, meaning doing incredibly well, and you forget you're only seeing their highlight reel, not the messy, stressful behind the scenes that everyone has.
Social media is brutal for that. You see perfect English, perfect lives, and that inner critic, that negative voice inside goes, you'll never get there. It's so easy to internalize that, to start believing it as if it were fact.
Internalize means you accept that negative idea deep inside as true. I did that. I started to buy into the story that I'm someone who always quits halfway. To buy into means to believe completely. And once I believed it, I acted like it was true.
Giving up on yourself is quiet at first. It's not dramatic. You just stop raising your hand in meetings. You stop practicing English because you think, what's the point? You shrink a little bit each day.
You start playing it safe. For months, I didn't pitch any ideas because I told myself they'd sound stupid. That's self-sabotage, when you ruin your own chances before anyone else can. It feels safer, but it's actually miserable.
Miserable is the right word. When I failed my first teaching mock exam, I shut down for a whole week. I told everyone I was taking a break, but honestly, I was just hiding from the fear of failing a second time.
Avoidance, yeah. I do what I call productive procrastination. Suddenly, when I'm anxious, I need to reorganize my entire kitchen. Like, now is the perfect time to alphabetize all my spices by color.
I do that with cleaning. My apartment has never been cleaner than when I'm avoiding something important. But does that actually calm the fear? No, it just postpones it and usually makes it feel even bigger later.
Exactly. So part of not giving up is learning to sit with discomfort, to say, okay, I'm not where I want to be right now, but that doesn't mean I'm broken as a person. It just means I'm still in process, still becoming.
Still in process. I love that phrase. It's so much kinder than saying, I'm a failure. The way we talk to ourselves shapes everything. Would you tell a friend they're useless? No. You'd say, hey, cut yourself some slack.
Cut yourself some slack means be less harsh, be more forgiving with yourself. We say that to everyone else so easily. A mentor once told me, talk to yourself like someone you actually care about. That line really stuck with me, stayed in my mind.
It sticks because we have this myth that being hard on yourself makes you work harder. Like if I criticize myself enough, I'll finally get moving. But research shows the opposite. Harsh self-criticism paralyzes you. It freezes you.
Yeah, freeze mode. Self-compassion, which means treating yourself with kindness when you struggle, actually gives you more energy to try again. It's counterintuitive, but being kind builds resilience, your ability to bounce back after hard times.
Bounce back, to recover after a setback. Resilience isn't about never falling down. It's about falling and still getting up, even slowly, even when you're wobbly, which means unsteady and a bit shaky.
That's me every Monday, wobbly getting up. Seriously though, we imagine resilient people feel confident all the time. They don't. They just keep showing up, keep being there, even when they feel shaky inside.
Showing up is so underrated, so undervalued. For someone learning English, it's opening the app for 10 minutes when you don't feel like it. For me last month, it was just going for a walk instead of spiraling on the couch.
Small wins. I am a huge believer in small wins. When your big goal feels impossible, like become fluent or change careers, you need proof you can still move forward. So you make it tiny. Today, 1 email. Today, 1 page.
Tiny steps still count, and they compound. They add up over time, like interest in a bank. Each little action is evidence against that critical inner voice. You're rewiring your brain with action, not just wishful positive thinking.
Action first, motivation second. You can't just repeat affirmations in the mirror and expect confidence. You need behavioral activation, which basically means you act your way into a better mood. You do something small and mood follows a bit.
That flips the usual script we believe. So when you're in that really low moment, when quitting feels logical and sensible, what actually pulls you back? What's your first move?
First, I give myself permission to feel bad, but with a deadline. I set a timer for 30 minutes to complain, eat ice cream, feel sorry for myself. I acknowledge the feeling instead of shoving it down or pretending I'm totally fine.
Containing, not suppressing. Suppress means pushing it away completely, which never works long term. Contain means you give it space, but with clear boundaries. That's a much healthier way to handle difficult emotions.
And second, I reach out to someone. My instinct is to isolate, to think nobody wants to hear my problems. But every single time I text a friend, "Hey, rough day," I feel like I'm failing. They respond with something that makes me feel human again.
We think we're alone in it, which makes it lonelier. But vulnerability, being honest about struggle, invites connection. I told my sister, I feel like I lost my spark, that special energy that makes me me. And she said, me too, last year for 6 months straight.
Spark is that passion, that life you usually feel. I lost mine completely in 2022. No clients, bank account getting low, questioning every life decision. I started thinking maybe I should just take a safe job I hate so I stop disappointing myself.
Did you end up taking that safe job?
I almost did. I even applied. Then on a bus, I accidentally heard, 2 university students talking about a YouTube video I made 2 years earlier that helped them understand phrasal verbs. I thought, oh, maybe I did matter, even when I couldn't see it.
I literally have goosebumps, that tingly feeling on your skin when something touches you emotionally. Impact isn't always loud or immediate. Sometimes you plant seeds years ago and they bloom much later when you're not watching.
Exactly. When you give up on yourself, you decide those seeds will never grow, so you stop watering them. But you're really just predicting the future based on one bad week or one bad month. That's unfair to your future self, who might need you to keep watering.
Your future self? The you 1 year from now. I think about her a lot. What would future you wish you did today? She'd probably say, just hang in there. Hang in there is such a warm, supportive way to say, don't quit yet, keep going.
Hang in there should be printed on coffee mugs. My grandma always said, this too shall pass. I used to think it was cliché, unoriginal, but it's true. Don't make a permanent life decision based on a temporary emotion. That rule saved me.
Temporary emotion, permanent decision. That's the crucial difference between resting and quitting. Rest says, I'm tired. I need a pause to come back stronger. Quitting says, I'm done forever. I have no value left.
And hustle culture blurs that line completely. It tells you if you're not grinding, working nonstop all the time, you're lazy. So you feel guilty for resting. You burn out even more. And then you think, see, I'm proof I can't handle it. It's a vicious cycle, a loop that keeps getting worse.
So true for language learners who are juggling many responsibilities. Juggling means managing several things at once. You skip 2 days of English and your brain says you're a failure. No, you're a busy human. Getting back on track is the real skill you need.
Get back on track means return to your path after a detour. That's the whole game, really. Not perfection, but the ability to recover. All or nothing thinking either I'm perfect or I'm terrible, kills momentum, that forward energy that keeps you moving.
Growth lives in the messy middle, not the extremes. It's trying, making mistakes, cringing at your old recordings. I listened to my very first podcast episode from 4 years ago last week and literally wanted to hide under a table.
Please, you sounded great even then. I listened to mine and I said, like every 2 seconds. But cringe means you've grown. If you feel embarrassed by your old self, it means your current self is more skilled. That's actually a positive sign.
That reframe really helps. So, what does not giving up on yourself look like day to day? If someone listening feels on the verge, right on the edge of quitting that English, their project, their confidence, what does it actually look like in real life?
Honestly, it looks boring. It's not a movie montage with inspiring music. It's drinking water, going to sleep on time, replying to that one scary email you've avoided, doing 15 minutes of shadowing even when your pronunciation feels off. Unglamorous consistency.
Unglamorous consistency. Not flashy, but powerful and effective. And also watch your self-talk closely. Notice the difference between I always fail, which is an identity, and I failed this time, which is just an event. Events pass. Identities feel permanent.
That distinction, that important difference matters so much, separating identity from outcome. A failed project doesn't mean you are a failure as a person. It was one attempt that didn't work. I have to remind myself of that constantly because my brain loves to overgeneralize.
I started asking different questions. Instead of, what if I fail? I ask, what if I figure it out as I go? Figure it out means find solutions along the way, not knowing every answer before you even start.
Nobody knows everything at the beginning. Confident people are often just better at improvising, making it up as they go and pretending they had a plan. With English, you'll never feel 100% ready to speak. You speak while feeling unready, and that's how fluency comes.
Confidence follows action, not the other way around. You do the thing you're scared of, you feel awkward, you survive, and then your brain goes, oh, maybe I can do this after all. That's how doubt gets quieter, less loud.
Quieter, not gone forever. Even very successful people have imposter syndrome, that feeling that you're a fraud and people will discover you're not as good as they think. The goal isn't zero doubt. The goal isn't letting doubt make all your decisions.
You can acknowledge doubt and still move. I like saying, okay, doubt, I hear you. Thanks for trying to protect me, but I'm doing it anyway. You bring it along for the ride, like an annoying passenger, but you keep driving toward what matters.
Exactly. Annoying passenger asking, are we there yet, every 5 minutes. And what about when the people around you don't believe in you? That makes holding on so much harder, even if they mean well.
Even kind family can plant seeds of doubt. They say, are you sure? Isn't that risky? So you have to curate your inputs. Curate means carefully choose what you allow in, who you listen to, what you watch, what you read.
If you marinate, soak in negative news and toxic comment sections every night, you'll feel toxic and anxious. But if you follow people a few steps ahead who share the real journey, not just polished results, you stay more grounded. Grounded means calm and realistic and connected.
And find your people, even just one. One person who says, I see you trying, keep going, can change your whole week. You need a hype person, a cheerleader in your corner who actually knows you.
I have Mark, my personal hype man. When I want to quit, I call Mark, and he goes, absolutely not. You are not quitting today. You've come too far. Everyone needs a Mark in their contacts, and you can be your own Mark a little too.
I keep a folder on my phone called Nice Things. Screenshots of kind messages, small wins, a lesson I explained well, a student's thank you. On low days, I open it instead of doom scrolling, endlessly scrolling bad news.
That's genius. I keep a mental folder of every embarrassing thing I've done since 2009. No wonder we feel terrible sometimes. Our brain has negativity bias. It remembers bad stuff more strongly to keep us safe. So we have to intentionally balance it with good.
Negativity bias means your brain is wired, designed to focus on threats and negatives. It's not your fault you remember one criticism more than 10 compliments. But you can train your brain with practice to notice good things too, deliberately.
And speaking of practice, can we talk about how not giving up doesn't mean never changing direction? For years, I thought persistence meant stubbornly doing the same failing thing forever. That's not persistence, that's just being stuck.
So important. Quitting a strategy is not quitting on yourself. If learning English only through memorizing grammar books makes you miserable and bored, quitting that method is actually smart. Pivoting, changing your approach, is a form of self-respect and wisdom.
I pivoted after my business failed. The business died, but the skills I learned didn't die with it. I didn't give up on myself. I just gave up on one version of the plan. Like that saying, if the plan doesn't work, change the plan, but keep the goal.
Change the plan, keep the goal. That's going on my wall next to your grandma's quote. So for someone listening right now who feels genuinely exhausted, who feels like they have absolutely nothing left, what's the simplest first step?
Ask for help, even in a small way, and do one tiny thing for your future self. Not 5 things, just one. Make your bed, drink a glass of water, record a 30-second voice note in English to a language partner. One action says, I'm still here, I still matter.
I still matter. That feels like the core of all this, doesn't it? Don't give up on yourself means remembering you matter, even when you're not productive, even when you're not impressive or getting praise. Your worth isn't conditional on performance.
That's huge, because if your worth depends only on achievement, any failure feels existential, like your whole value disappears. But you're allowed to be a work in progress and still deserve kindness, rest, and another try tomorrow. You don't have to earn permission to continue.
You don't have to earn the right to keep going. Can you say that one more time, slower? I want listeners to really catch it because it's powerful and the grammar is worth hearing twice.
Sure. You don't have to earn the right to keep going. You already have it just by being a human still here. You don't need perfect English, perfect grades, or perfect anything to deserve persistence.
Persistence includes tears, naps, slow days, where you do almost nothing, but you don't completely abandon ship. Abandon ship means leave something completely behind, give up forever.
You stay on the ship, even if you're just lying on the deck for a while catching your breath. And setbacks are completely normal. A setback is a small step backward after progress. It's not proof you failed. It's proof you're attempting something genuinely hard.
Setbacks are normal. Permanent quitting is optional. Language learners definitely know this. You will plateau. Plateau means you feel stuck. You're not improving quickly anymore, even though you're working. Everyone plateaus. Every single learner.
Everyone. The fluent people aren't the ones who never plateaued. They're the ones who stayed through the plateau. And they found ways to make it less boring. They switched podcasts, joined a speaking club, watched a show they love in English without subtitles. Make it fun again.
Stick with means continue doing something long-term, not give up. I stick with things longer when there's at least a little joy or curiosity involved. So ask yourself, how can I make this 1% more enjoyable? Study with a friend? Coffee after?
Rewards really work. My personal system is basic. If I do the hard thing before 11 in the morning, I get fancy sushi for lunch.
It's childish, but super effective. Your brain loves an incentive, something pleasant waiting at the end. I'm stealing your sushi method tomorrow morning. So, summary for someone on the edge? 1. Feeling low is human, not a sign you're broken or weak. 2. Small wins matter way more than big heroic efforts once a month.
3. Cut yourself some slack and treat rest as part of progress, not as evidence of failure. 4. Curate what you consume and who you talk to daily. 5. Changing your strategy is smart, but abandoning your worth is never the strategy.
And 6. Let yourself be a beginner for longer than you think you need to. We rush to become expert quickly because we feel pressured. But beginner means you're learning, you're in motion. And motion creates momentum over time.
Momentum, when movement starts to feel easier because you've kept going for a while. It's like pushing a heavy shopping cart in a supermarket. The first push is the hardest. It feels super heavy. But once it's rolling, it keeps rolling nicely. You just need that first push.
That first push after a low period is the bravest one because low moods shrink your perspective. They tell you nothing will ever change. They lie. Feelings are real, but they're not accurate predictors of the future. You've come out of lows before.
Exactly. Think about a worry from a year ago that felt absolutely huge then and now feels small or irrelevant. That's proof that time plus tiny actions does shift things. You have a record tracker, a history of getting through hard and uncomfortable stuff.
What would you do if you believed in yourself 10% more? Not 100% more, just 10. Would you send that email? Record that video? Speak up in that English class? Often the honest answer is yes, I would.
10% is less intimidating, less scary. You don't need to become a super confident person overnight. You just need a little more belief to take the next small step. Confidence compounds like interest. 10 becomes 12, then 15% if you let it grow.
It builds if you feed it. Same with doubt. You choose moment by moment which one you water with attention. And we are not saying just think positive and ignore pain. That's toxic positivity, not what we mean.
Not at all. If you felt hopeless for many weeks, please talk to a professional counselor or someone you deeply trust. This conversation is not pretending you're fine when you're not. It's about not letting temporary pain become your entire identity forever.
Hold on to yourself, even gently, even with just one finger if needed. Sometimes a fingertip hold, a tiny grip, is enough until a bit of strength returns. That fingertip hold still counts as holding on. It counts.
Strength does come back, I promise you that. I thought I'd never want to create anything again after my business flop, and here we are making an episode about not giving up on yourself. My past self from last year would be shocked we're here.
He'd be like, wait, we were just crying in the kitchen sorting spices, and now we're talking resilience? Life loops like that. You go down, you come back up with more wisdom, more compassion for yourself and others. So low times weren't wasted.
They taught me to be softer, less judgmental. I used to silently judge people who quit things, thought they were weak. Now I understand life can get really heavy. So if you're listening in that heavy place today, we get it. We're not here to lecture, just to sit with you a bit.
Sitting with you and saying, please don't give up on yourself today. Just today is enough. You don't have to figure out the next 5 years right now. Can you not give up for the next hour? Drink water. Step outside for 5 minutes. Text one person.
Just the next hour. Break it into tiny pieces if you have to. Future you is going to be so grateful you stayed when it was hard. Even writing that one outline on the bus that night kept the door open for me, kept possibility alive.
Kept possibility alive. Because when you give up on yourself, you close doors before you even know what's behind them. You decide the story is over. But if you're still here, listening, learning, breathing, the story isn't over. There's still a next chapter waiting.
And you get to write that next chapter, not as a perfect character who never struggles, but as someone who keeps going, who learns, who rests when needed, but doesn't abandon themselves. That's the kind of story I want to read, honestly, more than a flawless success story.
Same. I'd rather hear a real human story with setbacks and comebacks than a perfect curated Instagram story. So if you're learning English and you feel stuck and discouraged, remember your original why. Why did you start? For travel, for your kids, for work, for yourself?
Let your why be bigger than your fear. Classic line, but true. And let your why evolve too. Change over time. Maybe you started learning English for a promotion, but now you love it because you can connect with people all over the world. Evolution is okay and natural.
You're allowed to change and still keep going. That might be my favorite sentence of this whole episode. I'll remember it. To everyone listening right now, wherever you are, on the bus, cooking, walking, studying late at night, we see you.
We see you. And the fact you're here investing time in yourself, listening and learning, already proves you haven't given up, even if you feel wobbly. That wobbly effort counts so much more than you realize right now.
It counts. So say to yourself tonight, good job. I showed up today, even when it was hard. And if today you didn't show up how you wanted, that's okay too. Tomorrow is a fresh slate, a clean new start.
A fresh slate, a board wiped clean. You get unlimited restarts. No limit on how many times you can begin again. That idea takes so much pressure off because you don't need one perfect, unbroken streak to succeed.
Unlimited restarts. Carry the lessons, not the baggage, right? Carry what you learned, leave the heavy shame. This topic is so close to my heart because I've been low, you've been low, and we'll probably be low again someday.
We will. And when we are, we'll need to replay this episode for ourselves. I'll send it to you on your low day. You send it to me when I'm reorganizing spices at midnight.
Deal?
So to whoever needs this today, please don't give up on yourself. You're still becoming, still growing.
Right around the corner means very close, even if you can't see it yet. Keep watering those seeds you planted. Keep that fingertip hold if that's all you have today. Keep the door open just a crack. You matter far more than your bad days make you feel.
Thank you for being here, for investing in your English and in yourself at the same time. We're rooting for you. We're cheering you on, both quietly and loudly. Hang in there. Keep showing up in your own small, beautiful, unglamorous way. You've got this. Talk next time.